Afternoon, everyone. We're going to get things started. We're joined here with world number 6 and 10-time PGA Tour winner, Xander Schauffele. Xander, welcome. You're a San Diego native. What's it like to be back and making your season debut?
Yeah, it's always nice to be back. The weather is showing out finally. I feel like we've had a couple cold San Diego Farmers tournaments, so it's nice to be back here with good weather and a strong field. I think I talked to Marty, and, he's pretty happy with the turnout, so good to be back.
And last time we saw you, you won in your last start in Japan at the Bay Current Classic. What have you been up to with off-season as a new father, and how's your game feeling?
Yeah, it felt like a lifetime ago. It's been, a lot of my wife and I grinding, having a baby is real life, so been enjoying that, I took advantage of my off-season just to be a dad, so it's good to get back in the swing of things.
Perfect. That will open up to media. Same as always, raise your hand, and Doug's first.
How long does it take you to get back in the swing of things? Like, what's your daddyhood and off season, and in terms of working again?
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on I think carrying a kid. I'm learning it's just so slowly. You get dad shoulder, neck's all messed up. You know what I mean? Stuff just happens when you're holding a 15-pound, 20-pound bowling ball all day. Can't imagine how my wife feels, to be honest. So, straighten that out. That was a little bit of a learning curve there. But, I think if I can play enough rounds, I've been trying to play as many 18-hole matches just at home with, friends or other pros in town, just to kind of sharpen up, just to get something in the veins going, just because it's been quite some time. I mean, even before Japan, it was, I missed East Lake, had the little one, played the Ryder Cup. I was kind of shocked with how well I played, to be completely honest, and then had Japan, and I've played no golf in the last 6 months, it feels like. So,
Play money games once a week? Did you at least play once a week or something?
I think I played, I don't know, at least eight to 10 rounds since I've been back in San Diego, of 18-hole matches, just, with whoever's willing to play with me. Some of them, yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Doug. That's tone's big thing, huh? Appreciate you.
Dylan?
What do you make of Brooks Koepka being back?
Yeah, I mean, it's good. I mean, I don't know Brooks crazy well, but I've always gotten along with him. I think he wanted to be back, and I think the tour found a way to pave a path for himself and a few others. And I haven't seen him or spoken with him yet, but I'm sure I'll see him either tomorrow or throughout the week and back on the full circuit. So, I think it helps our tour. And yeah, I mean, I said this. Someone asked me this question during one of my TGL matches, and I just said it really just depends on who you're asking and sort of how you're looking at it. But, for my shoes, I feel fortunate to be kind of where I'm at, and it helps, it helps bolster the tour. It's not going to make the tour weaker having, a 5-time major just want to come back and play.
And then does it feel like you're coming off a win because it's been such a long layoff since then, or does it just feel like you're starting from scratch again?
It feels like I'm starting from scratch. The win kind of, I thought I did a lot of things really well that week and kind of got in the right mindset, even though I was sort of a bit rusty golf-wise, and definitely learned some things that week about sort of the mentality and sort of, how focused of an approach I can actually have throughout a week of golf. So, yeah, I mean, I'm going to play a lot of golf coming up here in the next 2 months, and the hope, and my goal is to sort of tap back into some of that focus.
Cameron?
Xander, there's been a lot of talk recently about the change in PGA Tour schedule possibly as soon as next year and where events might fit in. As a San Diego guy, with this event kind of being one that is up in the air on its future, especially with the farmer sponsorship ending after this year, what are your thoughts on keeping this event somewhere in the schedule and how important it is to have this event in San Diego?
Yeah, I mean, biased, obviously. Born and raised in San Diego and was running around here when I was a teenager in high school. So I think I would feel like Torrey's safe if you kind of look at the schedule. Just from it should find a home just because this property is iconic. It's a beautiful property. It's a big property. It's a tough golf course, and it usually has pretty good winners on it. So, I think Tiger single-handedly has made this property incredibly special in terms of like history in golf. Just tying back to the '08 U.S. Open. So, you look at pretty golf courses that we have on tour. I'd say Torrey's one of them. So, I wouldn't be shocked if it was somewhere on the schedule. I couldn't answer when. Or who would want to be a sponsor or something of that nature, but I think it's a strong enough course and a big enough course, a championship course to be on the schedule still.
Coming off a longer off season like you just did, are you a fan of a schedule that's maybe a little bit more condensed than it has been in the past?
I'm a kind of a keep your head down guy. I try not to think too much about all that stuff that's happening. I think the greater powers are going to kind of figure out what this needs to look like, and if I can support that product and be entertaining, I'm gonna try and do that. But for the most part, I'm no good when I stick my head above water too long to try and think about all this stuff that's happening on tour. I just want to play really good golf.
Todd, then Bob.
That was going to be part of my question was, do you feel like you have much say, or that, not just you, Xander, but tour players in general, do you think that you guys have much say at this point in how things are going to shake out, or is it all about this competition committee and you guys trusting them, I guess?
I think it's, I think a little bit more checks and balances are in place in terms of governance. I think player directors have, they have to vote on stuff that happens. You know what I mean? I don't think the tour can just, we are the tour, so I don't think stuff will just happen anymore like it used to. I think it's a little bit of a slower process, which isn't the worst thing. Obviously, in terms of scheduling and with sponsors, and there's so much stuff that goes into having just a single event, nonetheless a whole season. And then you tie in international stuff and, domestic, everything. It becomes a little tricky. So, I think things are a little bit slower than they used to be in terms of getting something big done. So if something big does happen, I think everyone agreed on it.
And are you of the mind that the tour kind of needs this kind of more featured events and more stars together at a time? Have you felt that way?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, I would need someone to. I haven't sat with anyone that's presented to me. The last time I saw the average age of who watches golf, was a little bit on the older side. So, obviously other sports are trending a lot lower, and I think we are trending lower as well. But I haven't had anyone sort of show me exactly what it could look like and why. It would just be me airing out for something I haven't even thought about, to be completely honest.
Bob, then Jay.
After, I'm guessing you would say last year was mildly disappointing, if anything, coming off the year that you'd had before. Obviously, you had injury to fight through, but how big does that make that win at the end of the year? If for no other reason than you're not going to get asked about not winning, and you come into this year at least coming off of that with something to build on.
Yeah, I think that was one of my goals. Was I knew we were going to have a kid. We had a kid, and obviously I'm going to take advantage and spend as much time with him and my wife. And it was a big goal of mine to play well. So I just know myself. If I didn't play well in Japan, I would have been super pumped to be there and be present, obviously. But at the same time, something would have been just scratching at the back of my head of just like, you suck, you know what I mean? Like, you got to play a lot better. So I think it was a bad year, obviously, but that definitely made my off season a lot more enjoyable.
Do you feel that you kind of got some of the things rectified that kept you from having a better year, or is it a little more complicated than that?
I don't think it's very complicated. I think I made it very complicated, which is why I didn't play well. It's been a big goal of mine to communicate. I think I'm a good communicator. I just ask for a lot from the people on my team, and it was communicated now to bottle feed me, if anything. Don't turn the faucet wide open. give me just like a little bit of information every once in a while and just let me go. So I'll ask a lot of questions, want to know why things are bad, all these things, and sometimes it's good just to sort of shut up and listen to some good advice and let that be it.
Jay?
Xander, I wanted to ask you about a couple of guys from your school. If I had told you last year that JJ was going to, almost win the Players, win the U.S. Open, be on the Ryder Cup team with you, and you'd come here this year with one spot between you and the world rankings, what do you think you would have said?
Not surprised, honestly. I think JJ would be everyone you talk to that knew JJ, everyone loves JJ, and everyone would always rave about how good he is. And, there's a lot of guys that are like that out here, but until you sort of prove it to yourself in big spots, and sometimes you don't get that opportunity, but, he did, and I think he obviously proved it to himself and everyone else. You just grow exponentially quicker than, it may take someone 5 to 7 years to do what he just did, and he got that confidence kick overnight. So obviously it took him a while to get there, but he's got, a good team around him, and he's an awesome player. He always was, and he just needed just a little bit of confidence, and made winning the U.S. Open look pretty easy.
And what have you seen from Justin Hastings?
Consistent. I think he's he's coming off a pretty solid finish on the Korn Ferry, I believe, and he was a really a really solid player in college, and I think he's actually just played even better as a pro. Sometimes it kind of happens that way, where college golf just the timing of things, the preparation for things, kind of aren't what you'd want them to be, and when you become a pro, it's more stressful, but you can have your team or your preparation however you want it to be, and that can kind of help guys excel. So I don't know Justin all too well. I know he's a super nice guy. I've spoken with him a few times, but I think it's pretty cool. They were able to give him an exemption into this week.
Should they put him in a group with you and JJ?
What's that?
I know how things work out here, but would you have liked to seen the three of you play
Yeah, I
together
wouldn't have been surprised. Austin, my caddy, was saying he thought that could have been a pretty cool group just with three Aztecs. But Harry's obviously a good dude, and so is JJ. So I'm pumped to play with those guys.
Back over to Doug.
Do you feel in your position as one of the game's top players, do you have a responsibility back to the game? And if you do, what is it?
I feel like I do. I feel it's given me so much, whether it's financial or, feeling whole. Obviously you have to earn a lot of it, but to play any sport for a living and to be appreciated by others is, I don't know, it's pretty darn cool. In terms of giving back, just.
What does that mean to you?
I'm not, I haven't really sat and thought about it, but, off the rip here.
You're sitting down.
Yeah, okay. Man.
Good to be back.
We got to pull his credential, huh? See if I can use all my powers for that one. What's that? Yeah, it would be. For everybody in the room? I get it. Yeah. Thought he could hide there in that white sweater, huh? Aloha, Doug. Giving back would be, I feel pretty, I'm not young anymore on tour, but I feel young-ish, not when I see some of these younger kids rip it, but anything along the lines of, which I feel like I'm okay at, taking my time to sign autographs for other kids, taking my time to, it can be a lot at times, but just I don't know, being nice to everyone that's on property, volunteers, things of that nature. That's kind of what I feel right now. And then as I get older, some sort of, charitable work, just giving back. I love giving back to junior golfers and things of that nature. Kids who aren't, privileged enough to play golf.
And then one other thing, not to make you think too hard, but your attitude on or toward international play, going overseas to play. What exactly is? I was trying to look at your record. You've been to, Japan's kind of like a hometown event for you, but Germany, I think you've done Dubai. I feel like there was another one in there. Do Do you like to get out and frankly, does having Victor change that going forward?
I mean, it will, you know.
Yeah.
I'm dreading the day he'll, you know, send me a video saying, you know, why are you leaving, or telling me that in person, then sending a video like, are you coming home tomorrow? And I'm gone for like 3 weeks, you know what I mean? I was just talking to someone else that told me that his kid just sent him that, and he's like, the kid's like, I'll see you tomorrow. And he's like, I'm going to be home in 3 weeks, kid. How do you explain that to a 3-year-old? So it happens, you know, it's part of having a kid, and luckily I got an awesome wife that'll let him know that I'm not going to be back. So it's part of the job, honestly. You know, I think international golf is important, and there are big markets outside of the U.S. that appreciate and love golf. And if it makes sense, then, you know, leadership will identify that and which location to play, and we'll go play international golf. Yeah, I mean, we're not going to. It's PGA Tour is a U.S. product, but you know, I think at most we've had 4 or 5 international events in our schedule of, you know, it used to be like 44 events or something like that. So I'm not sure how many events we have now, but I could see a little bit more of an international swing at some point.
Logan, right here in the middle.
Is there anything pre-round you do that's unique that you do every single time before you tee it up?
I mean, nothing that I do seems very unique, to be honest.
Nothing different than any of the other guys when you kind of look around?
I mean, we all eat, we all warm up, we all putt, then we chip, or chip, then putt, then hit balls, then have our caddy yell at us to get to the first tee. And that's kind of what every one of my mornings look like, yeah.
All right.
All right.
Perfect. That's all the questions we have. Xander, thank you for the time.
Thanks.